Hello, welcome to another project update. So, today I have been working on getting the continuation for what happens after the cutscene working. So, I have a lot of the character dialogue figured out, and you'll be able to activate that when you talk to the characters. But unfortunately, I haven't finished making that yet, and I'm still in the process of it. But one thing that I can tell you for sure is that now in the project, when the cutscene is finished, it reloads the scene, but this time the player is like in control. All the characters are in the position that they were in during the cutscenes. They're not. They're as you can see right now, their pose is all wrong. Like they're all in their T pose, except this guy, because I managed to. He's the first NPC I worked on. Well, at least today. So yeah, that's not the only thing that I did, but I'll kind of show you how things are in the game. So right now there's a bug where if I approach the there's two of them. Isn't that something? Yeah, so now there's a bug where if I approach it, it'll reload the scene. I think I think it's obviously it's because there's a loading zone there that I never got rid of. And now it's clearly gone. Yeah. So you see there's this guy here who's kind of rotating to face me. If I talk to him, he'll say, "Hey kid, nice job with the deforester drone. You'd make a good soldier. Humanity needs more lads like you." So no, he kind of talks to you, or you could talk to him. Um, it's kind of rude that he's pointing a gun at me. I don't think that's supposed to. I mean, it's kind of supposed to be a resting position. I think that maybe I should adjust to the animation pose so that he's like holding it differently. But for now, it's perfectly fine. But actually, that is not the way he's supposed to behave. That was kind of like a test, and I forgot to uncheck a trait. So if you look over here, I have a bunch of little controls for the NPC, which I added today to the script. So I added do look at. If do look at is true, then it will do the thing where the NPC looks at you. I think I intended this for that this to. I think for this guy, I actually intended it for it to be unchecked. But actually, originally the default behavior was that an NPC would always look at something. Where the way that it would work is if look at object is filled, then the NPC will always face that object. And if it was not filled, then it would always face towards the player. And I decided I don't really like the way that it works, so I added some additional logic called do look at. If this is checked, then it does that same logic as before that I mentioned. But if it's unchecked, then he just stays facing straight forward. So I'm going to reload this scene with do look at unchecked. I also added this NPC model backwards, but I'll explain that later. It's kind of just a jerry rig fix that second checkbox I mentioned. Just look this again. All right, so now you can see he's kind of just facing forward. You can still talk to him. So as for this checkbox, actually, can you see that in OBS? Yes, you can. Sometimes it's hard to tell because I'm a little bit my the scene that I have in my OBS scene is a little bit zoomed in because I don't want my Windows title bars showing or my taskbar showing. Also makes text a little bit easier to read sometimes. I just have to keep in mind that. I'll start rolling. Anyways, so for this checkbox, I'll just open the code. It's not really super important, but basically I created this to compensate for a mistake that I made in modeling certain characters. Check this if the character was accidentally modeled backwards to flip them forwards or rotate. I think actually to rotate them forwards. What I mean by this is for this guy in the Blender scene, I accidentally made it so that the front of his model is like pointing backwards and like, yeah, basically he's backwards. And a bunch of the characters are like that. So I created this to make it so the NPC actually faces the right way. So if I do activate, or if I check do look at but uncheck this, what happens next is kind of funny looking. Yeah, you can see he does not want to talk to me. That's what this checkbox is for. Oh, and actually, it doesn't. Apparently, I don't need to Apparently, I don't need to exit out for it to fix itself. Yeah. All right. So that is pretty much everything that I've done today. Oh, actually, wait, actually, in the quest system, I added two. Can you see that? Yes, you can. In the quest system, I added two sub quests to the. Everything that I've been working on the past few days has been part of the aftermath quest. Not really a quest. It's mostly for this. This is my way of keeping track game progress in terms of like storylines. So we have a bunch of chapters. They're kind of in like a tree format. And of course, I'm using the nodes in the scene tree for that. So I had this quest called Aftermath. Now I created two subquests called They're Here and What's Next. So They're Here is going to be it's basically just going to be a check for whether or not the player has watched the cutscene or not. And as soon as the cutscene ends, it switches to the What's Next subquest. And that's pretty much it. So at this point, at the point that you were watching just now, the What's Next quest was active, and that is when the player has control again. All right, that's probably good for today's video. As it good, not too bad. Anyways, I'll see you next time. Bye bye.